Hi class, welcome back. Today we're going to be doing the tunnel book because several of you are thinking about doing it for your final. This is not going to be a required prototype for our class this session, but this will be a good demo to have for those that are interested and anybody who wants to use this in the future. So the way these tunnel books look is, this is a prototype that I made, and maybe you can see there how that'll look, but it's basically there are 7 pages to this one. I'm doing 6 for the prototype, and then the side structure here is actually an accordion fold, and this can be made into a hardcover book, which we're going to go in part 2. I will show you how to add the hardcover. This one's actually a little one that I made that's a 4-page one that you can see with the bike on the side and the accordion, and it just glues right into the hardcover, and that has a spine and a cover, front cover and back, so that can be a cool thing. We can also make one that wraps around and has the front cover folded in like this. You can have ties or no ties, so you could leave it actually without a hardcover as well and just have it more as a structure, sculptural structure. So that's what we're going to make today. I'm going to tell you first all of the materials that you will need with you. So I have made a 4-inch square book that's just like this one that I showed you, but instead of just having this 2-inch accordion on the sides to show the photos, it's actually going to have a 4-inch to the top. So I have 6 pages like this that are all 4-inch square. You can do the same size or not for your prototype to try, but it's nice afterwards, then you can see how to reinterpret it to any size. Then I have 2 sheets for my accordion. These are 11 inches long because what I am doing is actually the accordion that's folded. I have it in 1-inch increment folds that my pages are going to be attached to. You can kind of see that. I've actually already pre-folded them, but I'm going to show you how to do that. So you will need, this is 4 inches high and I've made it 11 inches wide, and it has 2 half-inch folds on either end, and I'll show you that. So 2 of those. You will also need a bone folder, a mechanical pencil, your X-Acto knife. It'll be very important to have a sharp blade for this because of cutting the circles out that are in here. I've also got a circular template that I've used. This helps a lot, otherwise it's kind of hard to get all the different size circles. You don't have to do circles either for the cutouts. You can do anything. I've seen tunnel books done where they've done landscapes and they play with depth so that they have foreground, middle ground, and background. You can make it really interesting that way. I'm just doing a very simple one with the circles that are kind of slowly, progressively getting smaller as they go back, just to show you how that can be done. But you can do any kind of variation you want. I would stay though with the circles for the prototype just to make your life easier. You're also going to need a ruler, a brush of some sort for your gluing, your PVA glue, and a cup for the glue. I also have some copy paper, cheap copy paper for the gluing, right? And I have a cutting mat down here that you can't see but usually see when I do the demo, so a cutting mat. The other thing too is I have trimmed down some small sheets of Japanese paper. These are for hinges that I'm going to show you how to make. Each page here I've attached hinges except for the front and back, so several of them have these hinges and they're glued to the back. So I've made each hinge 4 inches high and about 1 inch wide. Okay, and you'll want to have 2 for every end sheet you'll see when I go in and add them. So you would pre-cut those as well. So that'll be all the materials that you would need. Of course, if you add other things to it or do any kind of variations, you'll need that as well. But I would make the prototype with these kind of materials first, and then you can go further to kind of modify it in any way you want for your final or other projects. Okay, so let's get started with folding the accordion. Okay, so we are going to start first. I'm going to show you how to fold your accordion side panels. You'll have two of them, one for your left and one for your right, to add all your pages into. And it's very important that they are folded exact, or else they don't lay down flat. If you get the folds slightly off, you could have the pages sway either a little to the left or the right, some a little bit bigger or some smaller, and that will end up affecting how the book lays. So I've already folded these, but I'm just going to show you with one how I go about doing that, just so you will know from the start. So for my prototype, again, it's a 4-inch square, and what I've done here is I've made what would be 2 strips at 4 inches of height, and the length here this way is 11 inches. I made it 11 inches because in the accordions I have 1-inch folds in here, and then on either side, the top and the bottom, or either side really, because we have it being the left and right, they're about 1/2 inch, and that's for adding my back page and my front page. So you'll do 2 of those. So to start, and you'll need your pencil, ruler, and your bone folder for this part, I am just going to make 2 tick marks at 1/2 inch from my top. And I line it up just right underneath those tick marks, and I take my bone folder and I make about 3 to 4 score marks. This gives an impression for the fold that helps when you go into fold. And now I'm going to actually fold it the opposite way, and then I line it up on the top edge and the bottom edge, and then I go from the inside out on either side. Make sure that's a really nice fold, and that's going to give me either my back or my front page fold. Then from that really nice mountain crease that you'll see, it has a little bit of an embossed texture, I start to measure my 1-inch accordion marks right down from the edge of that line. And again, I make just 2 little tick marks with a pencil. These can easily be erased later on, but they kind of help me be able to get a very exact measurement. And again, I'm going this way, lining up the paper on the sides and doing my fold. Okay, and I get this really nice fold again. I'm going to go down in 1-inch increments all the way down to the bottom, and it will actually, because of this length, will leave another 1/2 inch on this side if you just keep going down 1 inch. So you want to go all the way to the end, which I'm going to do, and then you'll see how to fold it in the right direction. Okay, and now we have all of it folded all the way down, and we have a 1/2 inch at the bottom. So now all you want to do is you want to just alternate up and back, up and back, up and back, up and back. And as you do that, you're going to end up with your mountains and valleys. And if you want to, you can even go ahead and go in with your bone folder again and really make those other folds sharp on the back side. But this way, if you do it all on the same side when you start, you have a good exact measurement, and when it lays down, it will lay really nice and flush. So that's how you start that. So you'll want to do 2 of those and have those prepared. So I have all 6 of my pages, and here I've actually made a progression. This is my last page, and then the second to last, and as it goes for 6 of them. And then the holes get slightly bigger as they go towards the front page. Just to show you really quickly, all of these, if you want to make holes, I made an X across the back of each one of my squares. You can see it on the back side of there too. And then you could actually use that square to line up. I think this is this size circle, but you could use it to line up to those lines. And I would trace a circle, and then that would be my pattern for cutting that out, just to show you how I use that and get the circle in the exact center each time. So then what I also did with your pages, your front page does not need any hinges, and neither does your back page, and you'll see that. But your other pages in between, and that means 4 for this prototype, need these little hinges added to the back side. And I've just used Japanese paper for it. I have these 1-inch wide strips that are 4 inches tall. And basically what I do is I take and I fold them, and then I just take my bone folder and I make a nice fold there. And then you can go ahead and glue one side with your PVA glue, and I add that to one side at the corner like that. And then this strip here is going to be glued into our accordion book. You would need to make a left and a right side hinge for each page in the inside. Okay, so because there is 4 pages to this prototype on the inside part, not counting the front and back cover, that means that you're going to need, if you've got 4 of these, you're going to need 8 of these pieces, okay, so that you have one for each side. So you want to do all of that, and you also want to get all of your circles cut, okay, to size. And I try and keep them in a row so that I know, you know, you can kind of tell based upon size as they get smaller and smaller what page they are, but it's good to keep them in alignment so when you get into gluing, you know where to start. So I've got all of those set up and ready to go for gluing. So then the next part I want to do is I want to get prepped for gluing. So I've got all these pages here, and then I'm going to have my 2 accordions folded for each side. So I'm going to put some glue into some sort of cup or something, anything you need to work with. And so for the first one, we're going to work from the back side up. So I'm just going to take and I'm going to glue the edge of this back accordion. It's going to be that 1/2 inch, and you could actually lay it right down on top of some copy paper like this so that you're really nice and clean about it, right? And just get glue only in that area that your page is going to be attached. And once you get it evenly across, you could always, you know, fold this up like that. And then I'm going to take the back page first, and I'm going to line it up right into that crease. Make sure it's lined up really well before it glues down. You could even take your bone folder and lightly press to make sure it's on there well. Okay, and then you're going to do the opposite side. So if this is my kind of left side, now I'm going to do my right. I'm pretty comfortable gluing like this, but you know, if you end up getting glue all over the place, it's probably really good to use the copy paper just to make sure, because glue gets everywhere and it'll get all over your nice books and pages. Okay, so like that. And then I'm going to line that up in there. You want to make sure it's in that crease well, but that it's not over. Okay, and I'm gonna also lay this down. And so you want to make sure that that's sitting flat, but then I want to show you how we're going to add the next page. So now you're adding the second to the last page. You want to keep this accordion here, and we're going to be adding at the hinges to the inside of this next accordion. Okay, and so I'm going to start first with my left side. So I'm going to put glue along this side right here. And Japanese paper works so good for these hinges. And you can buy, like, it's just like one sheet of it and then use it for other kinds of print processes or other books, but they make great hinges. They're very thin sheets of paper, but that are really very strong. I'm going to go in right at that corner again and try it, lay it down exactly into that edge, and you can go around that back side, make sure it's all laying really nice and flat. Okay, and that creates a nice little hinge there, and then I'm going to do the same thing to add it over to this side. So then I'm going to put more glue, and you'll be doing this obviously for all of your book pages. You want to get a decent amount of glue so that it's, you know, at least layering all over. PVA glue is great, it really glues well. So I'm going right into that corner edge. Let me show you. I want to make sure it's gonna not raise above that accordion fold. And I can go back in here and make sure it's lining up good. And one thing I like to do is I like to make sure that when I'm pressing down that it's all kind of laying flat in there, so that also if it goes into a box or into a hardcover, we know it's going to lay flat very nicely. So you'll kind of want to add each sheet just like that as you go all the way to the top. So I'm going to keep going, you'll see me, and fast forward, and then I'll show you how it looks at the top when I add this front page. Okay, and now the last front cover, I'm going to be adding right to the edges of the top of these 1/2-inch hinges. So after I've added all the pages on the inside, I've got my top one, and I'm going to add glue right to the front of these little 1/2-inch hinges. And so I didn't need to obviously add any of the Japanese paper hinges to this side. And one thing you do really want to remember is when you're making your accordion, like I did 1 inch for all of the sections, whatever measurement you choose, if it's 3/4 or 1/4, you just want to make sure that whatever your hole is on the inside from your front cover, that the length on the sides, which here is matching about, I think it's almost 1 inch, that means that you can't see the accordion fold underneath. You need to make sure that this side here is bigger than the sections of your accordion, just so that it covers everything nicely. And so I've got it on that side. I'm going to glue right on this side then, and then we're finished for the structure of the tunnel book. In the next part, part 2, I will be doing the hardcover that you can build for this to encase it. And again, as I said before, you do not have to do that. You could leave it as a sculptural structure on its own. It's really kind of up to you as an artist what you decide to do with it. And it can be modified into many different types of structures. And I'm just going to glue that down like that. And so if I laid it flat, it would all kind of lay like that inside the hardcover. But when it's stretched out, it is a tunnel book now with the accordion sides and all the pages inside like that. And it creates this really nice 3-dimensional type of view. So that's it for this time. Next time I will be showing you the hardcover variation for this. Thank you.